think I need drugs. I think I need anxiety tablets. I really hit my limit this week. I have been doing everything right. I was going on my walks, I was getting my morning sunlight, I was trying to do everything right to regulate my nervous system, but it still wasn't enough. I'm exhausted, I'm now behind on my work, and I'm still burnt out. So I guess the theme of this week's video is fuck it. Fuck it, I'm just gonna do the work anyway because apparently nothing helps. I'm gonna push through it anyway and suffer the consequences later and hope that it doesn't bite me in the ass. So we were left feeling pretty hopeful that after doing nothing but implementing nervous system regulation habits, that our body would start to feel more at ease and start to sleep through the night. So what happened this week? So I was really hoping that after having a really chill Thursday where I just read my book and I went to go hang out with my friend, that I would be waking up feeling energized and having a full night of sleep. I still woke up in the middle of the night after doing all of these good things earlier this week, and I'm still not healed. I'm still waking up in the middle of the night. This is ridiculous. I can't go on treating my body like it's made of glass. Life gets stressful, and I'm not just going to not do things because it's stressful. I just need to learn how to manage it. So I went to the doctor, but I wasn't really satisfied with the answer that she gave. She just said, take more of that anxiety tablet that I have before bed. So I took double the dose and it worked. And for the most part, it's a band-aid. It's not entirely effective, but it's certainly better than what I was getting. But I can't keep going like this with a band-aid. So because I wasn't satisfied with her answer, I'm seeing a different doctor. It's going to take about 2 weeks. But in the meantime, until we can figure out what the bigger issue is, we're just going to be taking the double dose of the anxiety tablet that I have and still doing some of those natural things to regulate my nervous system. That's pretty much where we landed when we spoke to the doctor. Her recommendation has been helping me get to sleep pretty quickly and helping me get enough sleep. But it's not always a perfect solution, as sometimes I don't always sleep throughout the night, especially if I overexerted myself like how I did over the weekend. I've been in bed asleep from 11:30 till maybe 9:30. So that's like 10 hours of sleep, except I still wake up in the middle of the night twice after having a double dose. And I feel so drained. My entire body feels exhausted. I didn't really do anything yesterday, but over the weekend, I did, for the last 4 days, probably 20,000 steps. And maybe my body's still feeling tired from that. So I'm just gonna stay in bed for a little bit longer. I've been kind of in and out of sleep for the last 2 hours. I just don't want to get out of bed yet. I was out and about all day before all of my shifts started, and I was still feeling the lingering fatigue of being out all day. So I kind of had a little bit of a slow morning today, and I just felt my body felt so completely exhausted. I'm focusing a lot on just catching up with my YouTube, because if I don't do that, then I'm just going to continue to fall behind, and I don't really know what's going on with my body. Unfortunately, it's taken like my whole attention, because I was supposed to be doing like this little entrepreneur journey, and I am, but it's really just been put on pause until I can figure this out. You can probably tell that I'm a little bothered. I'm not really feeling super chipper. This is such like a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. This is so annoying to deal with. I'm just doing what I can in the gentlest way I can while still trying to make progress. I don't have time for this anymore, and it was beginning to really stress me out how much work had piled up on me. To be perfectly honest, I am feeling quite stressed right now, and it's entirely of my own doing. So I've been editing my videos, all day. They've been pretty easy, for me to edit, but now I'm moving into the backlog of videos I have for my weekly summaries. Now that I have to make a summary, like a talking head summary of my week 4 journey, I actually don't know how to do it. It's not as easy as I was hoping. So I just have to figure out like what clips I want to include and somehow tell a story from it. So that's why I'm trying to power through it, but like, can I power through it? It's Tuesday and I have Wednesday, Thursday to still edit more videos, but they're going to be a little bit more complicated, and I don't think I can film additional content for 3 videos and edit them in 2 days. It might be possible. We shall see. I guess having this backlog of videos is making me you know, feel stressed and it's unnecessary stress and maybe I shouldn't do YouTube, but at the same time I still want to document this process. But it's adding additional work to my plate and it's taking away from my real work. I'm not doing client work right now. I'm not doing work on my own business. I'm just uploading videos to an audience that doesn't exist. So I was basically putting a lot of additional work on my plate that I don't technically have to do. No one is making me document my journey. I just want to, hoping that someday down the line it will help somebody. I think I need drugs. I'm reflecting back on last week's theme. And the theme was, you know, trying to do things that regulate my cortisol levels. So what last week told me is that even when I do those things, it's only as good as that night of sleep. So if I want to do work one evening, then I won't be having a good night's sleep. So it doesn't seem to be rest for a couple of days and then I'll be back to normal. No. I have a rest day, I have a good night. If I do a little bit of work or anything stressful, I have a bad night's sleep. And that's really kind of pissing me off. So I guess the theme of this week's video is fuck it. Fuck it, I'm just going to do the work anyway because apparently nothing helps. The breathwork still helps. Trying to be mindful is still nice. Doing the cold exposure, I'm sure it's doing something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my little body scan meditation. Maybe have a cup of tea and read my book and go to bed.
Gentle sigh. Long exhalation.
I'm trying to concentrate on what she says, but sometimes I flick back to thinking about content creation. So I need to be mindful and tell myself that that is tomorrow Sammy's problem. I think it's funny that all the stress is completely of my own doing. I don't have to do this. I just want to. This is something that I really want to do, but I was feeling very stressed about the amount of work that I had to do this week so that I can start to focus back into my main work. It was a really struggle to turn off my mind in that instance. So what I find in those situations, the best thing that I can do is journal. It's something that I've been doing for the last 2 years. I usually go through about 2 journals a year. And I find that that's the best way to get all of my anxious thoughts out and onto paper. I was sitting here journaling, and the very beginning page was me feeling like bum, 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 in my chest, and like, oh my god, what have I done? How am I gonna sleep tonight? I really screwed this one up. And then I think that my double dose of quetiapine kicked in, because suddenly it's just like, oh, the feeling's gone away. You know what, this isn't a big deal. I have no idea. I think I've resigned to the fact that I'm not gonna be sleeping very well tonight. My heart's been racing, I've been on my phone, and I have been overthinking. So we'll see just how bad my sleep is in the morning. And at the time, I thought that all of that stress that night would mean that I would have a terrible sleep, but somehow it didn't, and I actually woke up feeling pretty rested. And after getting a decent night's sleep, I was actually able to see everything with new eyes. Okay, so I'm definitely feeling a lot better than how I did yesterday. Not gonna lie, I kind of had a little crash out. I was feeling very upset about the stress that I was under. But I feel like I've made a lot of progress today. I think this is one of the most productive days that we've had in a while. So yesterday, one of the problems that I was struggling with was about the amount of pressure YouTube was like putting me on. And you know, like, I don't have to be doing this, but I want to because I feel like these videos could potentially help somebody. You know, at the end of the day, like, this is supposed to be at the bottom of the totem pole. And if I'm going to keep doing this, then I need to figure out a way to make the process of doing weekly videos simpler. And I got curious, before I give up on the entire idea altogether, let's just edit a little bit to see hypothetically how long this might actually take. And I resigned to kind of like scrapping all of my weekly videos, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that, even though it brought me great comfort. Just quit essentially last night. But you know, having like a fresh day, I was just like, let me just see like how long this would take me, you know, to edit week 4's weekly vlog. And so I took my video, read through the transcript, and in about an hour I took out all of the bits of things that I said that I thought were the most useful. And then from that, based on what I said, I was able to create a script. Maybe another hour to film myself talking about the summary video, an hour to edit the content, an hour to write the script, an hour to film, maybe 2 hours to actually edit the final video, an extra hour to make the thumbnail and upload it. Okay, I was feeling optimistic at the beginning of my conversation, and now I'm not feeling very optimistic. It's not impossible, it's just right now I'm looking at it realistically that I might not be able to continue making weekly videos because they might just take me too long. But it's still early days. There's a chance that I can still make this work. This week, it's fine. It's just about catching up on all of my content from before, and then next week I'll actually start getting back into some client work and automation work. Doing weekly videos might not be realistic, but for now I'm still going to try and make it work, and I was determined to get it done that week. It is 9:30 and that's actually a pretty early start. I really want to get all of my videos done today. It's a big task. It could be possible. I'm hoping that it is. So we're pretty much getting stuck straight into work today. And I did. Even though I wasn't able to film that day because I forgot that there were maintenance guys coming to install air conditioning and heating, I did as much as I possibly could despite the constant interruptions. I simply cannot do any more work today. Tomorrow and the next 2 days after that I have work, which means that if I want to do my filming tomorrow, then I have to have my meals for work prepped tonight, which means that I have to call it quits for tonight. And we did 5 hours of work today. It was very spotty. I'll show you. It's very spotty. That's how many times I got interrupted today. And yesterday I was able to, really just time block that out properly and have real breaks. I definitely prefer this to this because it just felt like I never took a break today. I did not hit my goal. I wanted to have all of my videos finished this week, and that just means that we'll have to go into the weekend time. So far, these weekly videos are not actually saving as much time as I'd hoped, but I'm not ready to give up on them yet because I might find a faster workflow if I give this another couple of tries. So we may not have gotten all the work that we had hoped to get done in 4 days, but we still accomplished a lot. I haven't felt this feeling in a while. It is that same feeling you get, I reckon, when you finished an assignment that you've been grinding on. It's done. Except it isn't actually done. I still have to film it. But I finished the script. I am shocked with how long that took me. Oh my God. I don't know if this is going to be sustainable. I'm very proud that I was able to get 20 hours of editing done this week, but I don't want to do that again. I need to find a faster way to make weekly videos, or I'm gonna need to scrap them all together. Because I certainly can't do daily videos. There's too many of them, and they're gonna be boring. Those scripts were basically done, and I was determined to still get them done over the weekend, which meant that I had to use the time I had before work to just touch up the script so that I can then start filming. And to clarify, if I had known that it would have taken me 20 hours, it would have been fine, but it's the fact that I didn't know it was going to take me 20 hours and it still wouldn't be done. But also, to be fair, it was also entirely unrealistic of me to expect that it would take any less time to edit 7 videos in a week. This is how I plan on filming this. I'm having my little script on my actual phone. This is my filming phone. And having my script right there. I don't think you can even see it. See? Boom. So I'll still need to look up and stuff. And I was hoping to finish them all over the weekend, but unfortunately it did run over into the next week. Oh my goodness, that was so much to get through, and we are still not done. We still have the segment of what did we actually learn this week. But before we get into that, I'm just going to quickly summarize everything that happened earlier on in this week, and I am going to read my notes because it's long. We struggled with lingering fatigue from the intense weekend, struggled with a lot of stress over the amount of video editing I had to catch up on, frustrated I wasn't healing fast enough and decided to just start working anyway, demolished editing 5 videos with thumbnails, and almost finished editing, scripting, filming, and editing again the 2 weekly recaps, logging 24 hours of solid work that week. I was pooped. It was a big week for me, and I was very pleased with myself that I got through it and I learned a lot from it, which brings me to the second half of the video. What did we learn this week? Thank you for bearing with me so I could rapid fire those, because that was a long list and I was not going to remember everything. Second part of the video, what did we learn? Starting off strong, number 1, if I do not go on my walks, I will go crazy. I rolled out of bed, made myself some breakfast, sat in front of my laptop. I did not go on a walk, I did not do my cold exposure, and I feel antsy because I have not left the house yet. I think my morning routine has actually been pretty great with like the morning walks, the cold shower, the breakfast, like, I don't know, it just sets like the right tone for the day. I have not gone on my walk, I've not gone on my sunshine, and I haven't released this energy from my body. And then, you know, in the evenings, I have my little walk where I catch the sunset, and it also just sets the right tone for like the rest of the evening. Like I need to like roll on the ground and like thrash around or something to just, I need to do something. If I'm not going to the gym and if I'm not exercising like Pilates or yoga for the day, if I do not go on my evening walk, then I will start to go feral. I do not like feeling like a caged bird being locked in my room editing for like 6 hours. I need to get outside or I will go crazy. So this confirms I need to do a little walk or something in the morning before I sit down in front of my desk, because I am full of energy. Number 2, when I do go on my walks, it's not just about getting physical movement on an otherwise sedentary day. The walks are about being present and giving my brain a chance to turn off from work. I don't know how well it's registering, but today really is beautiful. It is such a beautiful evening. The thing also about going on walks, if you're thinking about going on walks, is the whole thing is meant to be mindful and aware of your surroundings. You can like feel the breeze on your skin, you're listening to the dogs bark, and you're noticing like the shade of the sky and how pretty the houses are, or the gardens, or the flowers, if there's fruit flowering at the moment. It's supposed to take your mind back into the present. And because, you know, I've been guilty of this on multiple occasions of just listening to stuff in the background while I'm on my walk, but I feel like this helps me just slow down. When I was on my walk the other day, I definitely kind of was rushing through it, because the whole point of like the walk isn't just about getting outside and getting movement. It's supposed to be a way for me to calm my nervous system. So I was listening to, you know, some spine screenshot music, and I paused for a sec and I was just like, wait. I gotta, and this is supposed to be my slow down time, and I'm just kind of like, I could just feel it. I could just feel that I was still at this point when I'm trying to bring myself down to here. So on my second walk in the evening before the sun goes down, I'm not listening to music, and I was starting to walk very quickly, and I'm just like, wait. There's no need for that. Let's just slow down a sec and like actually listen to like the birds, look at the flowers, look at the houses, and, you know, just be present and notice things. Number 3, that eventually when I do quit my hospitality job and can stop working until midnight, I'm probably going to start implementing an early morning routine, because I've noticed on my 4 non-work days, I am going to bed earlier, and I'm noticing that it is actually doing very good things for my nervous system, waking up more so with the sun at around like 7 o'clock. I was saying that I really like having the evenings, you know, work. So like I have my busy work periods from like 4 o'clock onwards, because that's when I start my actual job, and, you know, so that's just when my brain registers that it's time to work. But because I've been having such bad issues with my sleep, I actually need to go to bed earlier. I can't be up editing till 1 in the morning, so naturally I just need to fall asleep by at least like 11:30. And I feel like that system has been working out well, but it kind of goes against what I was saying. I really like just having the daytime to, you know, do things for me. So I'm hoping one day when I eventually leave my hospitality job, I maybe can have an even earlier morning routine so that I can enjoy the mornings maybe guilt-free, and then, you know, enjoy the evenings. Because what I've realized is that going to bed earlier and starting, it's gonna sound great. I know, going to bed earlier and waking up earlier, not gonna lie, it's nice. It is nice. So when I have my little work days from Friday to Sunday, coming home at 12:30 or 1, and I'm falling asleep at 2, trying to spend Monday getting myself to sleep earlier for like the next 3 days, so that I'd like to be in bed by around 10 or 11, just so that it's better for like my nervous system basically. So that's where I'm at right now. Number 4, if I am feeling tired instead of energized from after a walk, when I have my cold shower and I implement listening to like rah 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 music when I'm having my cold shower, it will wake me back up. And when I say rah 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 music, I do mean basically listening to music that makes me feel hyped. So after I came back from my walk, I was feeling a little bit, tired. And so because I still don't have hot water, I had a very cold shower, and boy, did that wake me up. And I also had some music playing, and I feel like a combination of, like rah rah music and a cold shower really helps to wake you back up. Number 5, even though Mondays are kind of like my slow rest day from the long work week that I've had, I find that I still need to be mindful and intentional with my time so that I don't just fritter it away. So far what I've kind of noticed about myself is I can definitely tend to fritter away the mornings. I woke up at 7:30 this morning, and that's when my day started, and I didn't actually start doing anything until 12:30. And in that time I had my breakfast, I went to the gym to shower, not to actually work out, and I dried my hair, styled it, and also did my makeup. And I feel like that could have been done in a much quicker time than like 4 hours. But that's okay. Now I know, and we will do better next time. Number 6, I've been questioning along this journey how people make themselves work such long hours. And at the moment, the answer I found for myself seems to be pressure. The other thing that I wanted to add is a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, how do people do it? How do they work, that long? Like people who study to become doctors, or, people who are just studying basically. How are they doing it for that long without burning out? Is it pressure, or is it just a deep love for what they're doing? And for me, what I've found, that answer is pressure. The answer is like pressure, because you realize I need to get something done by the end of the day. It's like, no, this needs to be done today. I've spent the entire week editing my backlog of videos. If it is not done by the end of the week, I swear to God, it needs to be done by the end of the week. There are no consequences other than I just fall behind, and I'm not gonna have that anymore. But so far, that is what I found. It is pressure. And lastly, number 7, I do not want another backlog of content to edit. I need to find a faster way to edit my videos, and I need to be more efficient with my weekly vlogs, because if they're going to take me around like 10-15 hours each, then that's just not sustainable, and I'll either have to find a better way to do them, or I'm just going to have to scrap them altogether. Because if I'm spending 10-15 hours every week on them whilst working at my hospitality job, then it leaves very little time for me to actually focus on my main goal, and that is becoming self-employed. YouTube is just meant to be like a fun little side thing that I do to document this journey. So those are the general things that I've learned about myself this week, but in terms of my health, it's still a little bit confusing. I feel like I've been flip-flopping a lot as to whether I actually need anxiety medication, because I do have periods where I'm just like, I'm sick of feeling this way, giving them. And I do have other periods where it's just like, this is probably just a normal person's reaction to a stressful situation, and I can just find healthy ways to manage my stress. So I'm caught between the two. I'm not going to try and self-diagnose myself. I'm going to speak to a doctor about it and see whether I'm actually a suitable candidate for it. But, until then, we're just going to have to try and manage it as best I can. And until we get a second opinion, it is probably quite likely that I'm not truly going to solve my sleep problem. So it's just something that I'm just going to have to deal with, until I get a diagnosis or whatever. I think everything I have been doing in terms of regulating my nervous system and my cortisol has definitely been helping me, but I don't think it's so effective that it actually cures me altogether, and I think it's something that a little bit bigger that I need to talk to a doctor about. So that was pretty much everything that we learned this week and everything that happened. I am definitely pleased with the fact that I was able to catch up on so much work, and I'm hoping to avoid that as much as I can in the future. So that is pretty much everything that happened this week, everything that we've learned. It was definitely a very, very long video, so if you stayed to the end, I really appreciate that. And if you wanted to subscribe, like, or comment, that would also all be very appreciated. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.